What's going on, world? What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Crisis, and today I'm going to give you guys a tutorial on how to build a computer. Alright, if you are wondering or ever even thought of trying to build your own, well, hopefully this will help you. Alright, I'm making a gaming PC. Alright, it's for me to play Guild Wars 2, but I want you guys to take the concepts out of what I'm doing and just apply it to when you want to build your computer or how you want to. Alright, so it doesn't technically have to be the way that I did it. I have a couple high-end items, but by all means stay within your budget and be responsible for everything that you do. Alright, be very careful when picking certain things out when you're out purchasing your parts or whatever. But enjoy the video. It may be kind of long, so please bear with me, but all the details that I do provide are very specific and it's very detailed so that you can understand where I'm going with this, so you at home can definitely build one yourself by doing what I'm doing. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing you need is a motherboard. Your motherboard is everything. Your motherboard is your starter, alright? So basically, once you get your motherboard, you start from there and then you work your way around everything else. Like, it tells you what you can and can't have, okay? So you have, you know, your hard drive, you have your processor, you got RAM. It dictates everything that you should have, what works on it. And that's how you determine what else you can get for your PC. Alright, so keep that in mind while building a PC. First up, my motherboard. I have here an MSI 760 GME51FX. FX means that my processor, I can unlock it, basically overclock the processor, giving me more speed if I wanted to. Alright, so that's just a plus. The stuff that I have here is a little high end, but by all means just take the general things that I'm saying to you as you go along with this video. Alright, these are the core pieces you need that you're going to need to build a PC. It's an AMD motherboard. It supports DVDRW RAM. That's the highest RAM you can get as of right now, as far as I know. It supports all the AMD chips, AMD FX, Phenom, Athen, Sempron, whatever. Okay, it's the AM3 Plus socket, so it takes the highest AMD processor that's out there. So any processor that you see that says AMD or AMD Plus, this motherboard can fit in here. Alright, it's a 760G chipset, so it pretty much I have to work with the chipset that it comes with this motherboard. I can't go around it. It must be something that it works with, okay? It has PCI 2.0 X16 slot, so 8-channel audio, a gigabit of LAN. That's pretty much a plus. Faster speed, 12 2.0 USB 2.0 slots within this bad boy right here. So I mean, you can't kind of go wrong. It got SATA for the hard drives. So this pretty much is kind of beefed up. So I like it. This is my little motherboard I have here. Now we're going to go to the tower, alright? Because the tower, again, has to go with the motherboard. This is a micro ATX, so the motherboard has to be able to fit a micro ATX motherboard with it, so keep that in mind. So now we're going to go to my tower. So I have here my tower. It's a Thermaltake tower, okay? They call it an ATX mid tower case. So it does fit with my motherboard that I have. Alright, see, it got two USBs in the front, 2.0. It has your microphone, it has your headphones here, reset button here, power button here, And then this right here is an external drive bay. Alright, 3.5 inch bay. So basically, you could try to squeeze in an external hard drive or something like that. That's pretty much what it's used for, or anything that you can basically squeeze into here. It's another extra slot for you. So basically, instead of putting it in the PC in the back where you can't reach it, you can always come in here and take it out anytime you want. Alright, it came with a 450 watt power supply. It has 6 3.5 inch internal drive bays, 7 expansion slots. It's 17.6 inches in depth, 7.2 inches in width, and in height is 16.5. It looks alright too. It looks alright. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So now I'm gonna show you guys the inside. So basically what you wanna do, these are your vents right here. These are your vents. And also, this is your power supply here. This is where you put fans, your fans at. Alright. Your fans could pretty much fit here. These I believe are 80 millimeters, 280 millimeter fans. So you could go out and buy whatever fans you need, but the specs that comes with the case will tell you everything that you need to purchase in order for, you know, your cooling system. So that's gonna cool the whole PC. So that is very important to get too. But I just don't have any fans right now for you guys. I'll probably get them later on. So I'll probably squeeze it in this video. To take them off, you just unscrew these. Sometimes you might have to use a screwdriver to unscrew it. This is the inside of the tower. Okay, comes with a power cord, which it should. Also, all your connections that you're gonna need for your motherboard are right here. All right here, and everything that you're gonna need as far as turning the power on from the case, the reset from the case, the fans from the case, all of this will attach to your motherboard. All right. So that pretty much is my tower case, guys. Next up, we have the CD-ROM drive. All right. So this is my CD-ROM drive. All right. This is what it's gonna look like. It's a Sony Optiarc. All right. It's 24x DVD rewritable. This DVD rewritable drive can basically burn DVDs. Burn CDs from that's 4.7 gigs in 4 minutes. So that's not bad for having a little CD, you know, a DVD-ROM drive or whatever. Next, we have the processing chip. All right. Now this here is a FX AMD processing chip. It is an 8-core processor. 8 cores. It's unlocked, so that means I can overclock it if I want to, and it also supports AM3 Plus. All right. Next, hard drive. Right here, 3.5 inch, 1 terabyte hard drive. SATA, so high. It takes a good it transfers well. All right, for information. All right, so SATA is the new thing. I also make sure everything you get is SATA. You probably might have old computers that's using the IDE cables, which is the big little wire that's attached to the back of your CD-ROM drive. Every time you open it up, it's like a big wire. It runs all the way down to your motherboard. So that's the old stuff. Get the new stuff, SATA. All right, if you're thinking about upgrading your PC or just starting it fresh altogether. Then after that, your computer will not run without RAM. You need your RAM. All right. I have here some Corsairs, 4 gigabytes of RAM together. There will be 8 gigs in this 8 gigs of RAM in this PC. They're DDR3s, so they will support my motherboard. So now that you know all the pieces that you need to assemble, so let's get down to it. Let's assemble a PC. Alright guys, so basically I have here all my items here, basically, you know, scattered on the table and whatnot. What you're gonna need a hammer and you're gonna need a screwdriver. Okay, I'm joking about the hammer. You don't want to smash anything. But you need a screwdriver, alright? You need a screwdriver. Also, you're gonna need something to drink, because it's gonna be a while. Get some damn vitamin water or something. Make sure you quench your thirst, because it's gonna be a while for you newbies. Alright, it's gonna be a while. Also, get some damn jelly beans, because you need something to snack on while doing this. Alright, get some jelly beans. Just kidding, guys. So, alright, so what you want to do, let's start off with opening the tower case. Alright, so you have the screw here, so you're going to unscrew that. Alright, now they usually have, you know, 2 screws on each side, and to know which one is the right side is the one with the vent. The vents is usually the way you need to go to take it out, okay? Because on this side is where you're going to be putting your motherboard. So always go to where the fans are and where the vents are at. So that's how you know you're taking out the right side. But technically, you need to take out both, but we'll get to that in a minute. So now let's pull this off. Alright, so now that I laid the motherboard down, what you want to do is you want to line up the motherboard with the holes that you see here in the casing. Alright, now when you open your tower case, it's gonna come with a bunch of screws. The screws you are going to need right now are, you're going to need this. Alright, this pretty much is what you're gonna need to put inside these holes. Alright, right here. You're gonna put it in right here. Depending on where your motherboard screws line up, you're gonna put it in here and twist it in. Once you put that in, your motherboard is gonna rest on top of that gold screw. Alright, so knowing that, let's line up the motherboard. This is what you're gonna need to hook up into the back of your tower case, so keep that near you. Alright, so this basically where I took this off, that's where you're gonna put your processing chip. These are your RAM, where you put your RAM at. This is the power. That's the SATA port right there, if you guys can see. That's where you put your SATA with the hard drive. Spin this around here. And then this is where you put your video cards at, right here. This is the PCI 2.0, and then you have your regular PCI slots here. Alright. CMOS chip. This what keeps the time. Your BIOS will keep the time for you. This is how it keeps the time when you turn off your PC. It keeps the time, date, whatever settings you have equipped with your BIOS. Equipped with your BIOS settings in your motherboard. This is pretty much that what maintains it. That's what your back of the tower is gonna look like. All right, for the motherboard, I just noticed this, but this usually, I guess this to make it easier for you to set up your motherboard. But if you look right here, it says ATX A, and then M, it says for micro ATX. So I have a micro ATX. So now I have to look for all the M's, A and M's. So as you can see, it kind of tells you where you want to put the screws when you put in your motherboard. Remember when I told you you're gonna need this? Well, now you're gonna need it. Okay, so this pretty much goes inside like that, and it should snap on. There we go. Yep. So once it's in, you pretty much got to snap it in. So go from the inside, follow the little guardrails that's around it, and put it in. Alright, so I'm screwing the last one in here. So pretty much that's what it looks like with all the pieces in there. Now I want to make sure that they line up. So I'm gonna put my motherboard and rest it here. Alright, so now it's fitting in there. So now I want to see where my screws line up. So right there, see that gold thing? That's where I put the thing. I want to line it up to make sure it's good. And then they have another gold one here, so that I know I'm looking in the right spots. But for the most part, they are lined up. See that gold spot right there? That's lined up. That's lined up. You see? So you want to make sure that your pieces is lined up with each other. Second part is we got to screw them in. After you put in the gold pieces that I just briefly explained to you earlier, make sure you tie them in tight before you put in the motherboard. And also make sure you touch something metal. I forgot to mention this before. Make sure you touch something metal just to make sure you don't have no static electricity, you know, in your body or whatever, so that you won't accidentally shock the computer, shock the motherboard or something like that, and partially could be harming it in some type of way. Alright, so you definitely want to do that before touching the motherboard. Alright, so as you can see here, the screws are here. What you want to use are these type of screws right here. They're called hexagon screws, I believe, and that's what you're going to use to screw in the motherboard. So let me screw in the motherboard and we'll be on our way. When putting the screws in, just make sure you tie it tight. Screw it in tight. That way the motherboard won't move no matter what. Not too tight, but just tight enough where you know it won't move. Alright, so the motherboard is now fully intact to the case. Well, right now we're going to set up the power for the front end of this PC. We're going to set up the front end that goes in here. So pretty much the lights and the power button. Basically, when you hit the power button, that's what we're going to set up. So, but you got the HD LED. Alright, that's one of them. Then you have the power LED. All of these are labeled and marked so that you guys can know what's what. Then you got here your power switch. Alright, now you can find out where to put these in your manual. So if you look in your manual, they tell you where to put them at. Just find the JFP1 on the motherboard. Alright, JFP1 on the motherboard, and it tells you where to put the power LED and the power switch. Alright, it tells you. Alright, so we're going to start off with the power LED. Alright, plus. Now it says for the power LED we need +2 and -4. Alright, so that's on the JFP1. So we go to JFP1. Alright, and then we go on the other side, because remember we have the speaker there, so we're gonna move the speaker, and now we gotta do it's the first 2 pins. So now the plus is at the very beginning. So if you look on the power thing, you'll see a plus symbol on the power LED. There you go. See the plus symbol? Alright, so plus symbol is the very first one. So now we're gonna hook it up here in the very first prong. It's hooked in on the very first prong, and then follow the other one on the second pin. So now they're on the first 2 pins. Okay, just like that. Next up is the HD LED. All right, and you see the positive and negative. All right, now we're gonna go refer back to our chart. You see HD LED is on the other side. The positive is on the very first prong, the very first pin, and then the negative is on the second pin. The first prong was positive, so now we want to make sure we put the positive prong with the positive pin here. See, there you go, and there you have it. So now we got the power switch. All right, so power switch, if you look back here, the power switch is on the left hand side, and 6 and 8, positive 6 and negative 8. So see those last two prongs on the left hand side? That's where we're gonna put them at. Now the thing is, on here on this, it doesn't say which one's positive and negative, but knowing positive always has the colorful. Positive is usually always the color, and then negative is usually always the black. So we're going off that, and then we're gonna put it on the last two prongs, and there you have it. All right, so next is the reset switch. All right, reset switch. So now we're gonna look in the book. Okay, reset switch, the positive is 7 and the negative is 5. All right, so assuming that the white is positive and the black is negative, you see there's 3 left, so we got to fill in those 2. So they said the positive is on the 7, the 7 is towards the third prong. All right, so there we go. All right, and then that last prong should be number 9, which is reserved. So that last prong is number 9. All these pieces that I'm putting in here is on every motherboard when you're building it. So the tower has wires that you're gonna need for it to function when you hit the power button, the reset button, the lights coming on, everything, the fan, everything. Okay, and then you have the wires to control your power. All right, this is the power supply right here, and this is everything to control the power, which makes the motherboard power up and everything like that. So that's why I told you in the beginning, when doing this, just keep a general eye out on how to do this process, because it's essentially the same for every motherboard. You have to look through the book, you have to find those items and connect them together. All right, so let's move on to the next. This is the USB for the front of the case, the tower case. So now for the USBs, it says here front USB, hit JUSB1. You know what I mean? 1, 2, or 3, whichever one I want. Now all the USBs are right here. This is 3, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So if you look up at the piece here, you notice that one of them doesn't have a slot. One of them is blank. If you look on the top right, if you're looking straight at it, look on the top right, you'll see there's like a blank. There's nothing, there's no hole. It's just covered. All right, right there. So knowing that, if we look back at the jump drive, you see there's a blank on there on the actual jumper, on the jumper pins itself. So this makes it easy to plug and play. So I'm gonna just choose 1 for right now and just plug it in 1. All right, so that's your USB.